All right. What is going on, y'all? We are live. Rigel's fussy. But Chris is getting him out of the car seat right now, so he's about to be good. Feel bad that y'all are just walking into chaos here. Anyways, we thought we would start the conversation with a little talk on gut health. Gut health is important, very important, and so much that people have often started referring to the gut as the second brain, because the relationship between the gut microbiome, the brain, how all those are interconnected is growing and growing and growing, and we're really now just becoming aware of how important that relationship is. Can't really have one without the other. So when it comes to proper gut health, there's a couple things that we want to make sure we're tapping into here. One of which is proper digestion. Actually, before we even talk about that, let's talk about serotonin, for instance. So a lot of these people that are suffering from depression, that are taking antidepressants, SSRIs, those are oftentimes different formulations of serotonin, basically. Having proper, well-formulated serotonin levels is one of the key contributing factors to having good mental health and cognition, healthy relationship with yourself and the world and society at large. Without that, you're probably going to be depressed and turn towards drugs, antidepressants, and just things of that nature. What's crazy is that I think it's like 95% of serotonin levels are produced and regulated by the gut or something like that. Some crazy ratio there. So that hopefully gives you an inkling as to how important that interrelationship between gut and brain truly is. Now, when it comes to proper gut health, you have to have proper digestion, you have to have proper gut microbiome. All that's very important. Also, from just a sheer performance and energy standpoint, if you're not having proper gut health, gut microbiome, proper absorption, breakdown, assimilation, and absorption of the foods you're consuming, then tracking macros is kind of all for naught. I mean, you could have your macro intake perfectly dialed down to T, but if you're not fully absorbing those macros, then it's kind of like you don't really know what you're accurately tracking. So there's that variable to be had as well. And with that said, your gut absorption of food is going to be significantly inhibited if you're constantly stressed and sympathetic nervous state. You need to be in that rest and digest state.
Or taking medications.
Yeah, or taking medications. That can also throw off the absorption of your foods. So let's talk a little bit about proper gut health. When it comes to the ketogenic diet, the carnivore diet, things of that nature, in which you're removing carbohydrates and processed foods, many people have a several week span in which their digestion and their overall GI tract is kind of all over the place. You may experience really watery stools. You may experience some constipation. You may experience some very, uncomfortable GI disorders. Oftentimes because your gut microbiome is basically having to adapt and adjust that significant shift in food source from more carbohydrates to little to no carbohydrates. Anytime you drastically shift your intake, the microbiome in your gut has to change. When you're consuming more vegetation, you have to have much more fermentation. Vegetables, we do not have four stomachs like a cow. We're not ruminants. We're monogastric animals, monogastric mammals. So there has to be, fermentation in our gut. That happens with ruminants as well, but they have a four-chamber stomach in which for that process to be efficient. It's not really an efficient process for us. We have to have a lot of stomach acid. We have to ferment those foods. That's why a lot of people have a lot of bloating when they eat a lot of vegetation. That's why when a competitor is getting ready for a show, they'll oftentimes remove a lot of broccoli and salads and things of that nature to remove risk of bloating on stage, that bloating being a result of the fermentation of the vegetables that they're consuming. So when you remove those, when you remove the carbohydrates, when you remove the starches, when you remove the vegetables, and you remove that need for fermentation, your microbiome changes. The bacteria within your gut have to change. It's going to be a different set of bacteria, concentration of bacteria, a lot of different variables to digest a heavily meat-based, higher fat-based diet than that of more carbohydrates and vegetables. You're going to have different levels of bile production, inner working with the gallbladder and liver to assimilate those higher fats, higher dietary fat concentrations. Lots of variables at play here. So getting that dialed in is key. A lot of people think that they are like if they have any acid reflux, they think that it's because they have too much stomach acid, and they wind up taking a bunch of Pepto-Bismols, Tums, things of that nature, antacids like that. But those oftentimes it's a result of not having enough stomach acid. So many people need to supplement with betaine, HCl tablets to increase acid levels in order for their body to kind of upregulate its own natural production and get that dialed in. Also, pH-based diets. I don't really put a whole lot of stock in those. Some people swear by them, but like the pH level of the foods that you're consuming is not really going to have a massive impact on your stomach because the stomach acid concentration in your stomach is just so far and above acidic from an acidic standpoint that changing the pH levels of some minute food source you're getting is probably not even going to make a dent in those levels. So there's kind of my stance on that. What are some other topics, gut related, digestion related? Anything else come to top of mind?
I started keto because I had digestive issues.
Boom. Take it away, Crystal. Hold on
Yeah, I would love that. Yeah, I started keto because I had digestive issues. And so I was originally diagnosed with gastroparesis and slow transit colon, and IBS and all the other things that come along with that. Really bad acid reflux. There was just a bunch of erosion, discoloration, all that in my esophagus. I have at least one ulcer. So there's just a bunch of different gut issues that I was dealing with. And they literally had me on a liquid diet, but it was mostly like blended foods, really easily absorbed foods, which is going to be like high sugar items. And then Robert had already started keto, and he's like, why don't you just try what I'm doing? So I switched over, and it was not immediate. It did not immediately help, but it was slowly better, like week after week after week. I think I probably felt bad. Like I probably felt like I was actually making a difference, probably like 3 to 6 months in. So keep that in mind too, that if you have digestive issues and you're switching your diet, like it does take a while, because you're also like not only changing your diet, but you're like healing things on the inside. Like it's going to take a little bit of time to get rid of all the other things that were happening in order to feel good. So I would say 3 to 6 months, I really started to notice a larger difference. I mean, Robert and I were dating, and there was like days where I just like couldn't get myself out of bed because my stomach hurt so bad. So going from that to like actually being able to work out every day and like have the motivation to like keep going, it was really awesome. So I just kept doing the diet. And then we moved here 2 years, 2 years.
Yeah, it's been about a year.
It was 1 year after I went keto.
So we moved here, to Arkansas in general. Yeah, probably about a year and a half.
A year and a half, somewhere around there. And right after my competition, I think. Anyways, it was probably around 2 years. I went back to a new doctor, and they did some scopes on me and actually said like all the discoloration was gone, all the erosion in my esophagus and my stomach was gone. I do still have one small ulcer. I still get like really bad constipation. That's what like gastroparesis is, just like a really, really, really slow digestion in the stomach. And then slow transit colon is slow transit of your entire intestinal situation as well. So everything is just really, really, really slow moving. So the less fiber I eat, the better I feel. So the less vegetables I eat, the better I feel, because it's not having to break it all down. It's not having to ferment in my digestive system. So for me, I love vegetables, and I know that they're like a lot of people are like, oh, you don't love vegetables. I do. I think they taste good. But I actually feel better if I don't eat them. And I mostly eat meats and yogurts and things like that. I actually am posting my food on Instagram every single day this week because we're doing the DSK challenge. And so if you guys are interested in what we eat in a day, that you guys can go check out our Instagram stories this week. But changing my diet has been so life-changing for me. And people ask, like, will you ever go back? Why don't you ever carb up? Why don't you carb cycle? Why don't you do this? It's because I literally can't. Like, I cannot get myself to go back because I know how much pain I was in. And I don't want to go back to that. I don't even want to go back to it for a day. Like, it was that bad that it's just like, I don't want even in one day of feeling like junk. And I will do everything I can to like help my kids to know, what's going to be good for their body and what's not, while allowing them to make their own mistakes, but trying to help prevent them from having those issues. And I think a lot of mine stemmed from a bunch of antibiotics when I was young. I had a ton of antibiotics. I was a C-section baby, which does make a difference. There's I was on birth control for about 10 years. Like, all of those things can really, really mess up your gut. So as much as I can heal some of these things, some of them will also never be healed. Another thing with healing your gut, you can actually eat more. So when we first started dating, I think I was probably eating about 1,500 calories a day. I also wasn't as active, but now, like, I'm breastfeeding and working out and doing all the things, but I easily eat 2,800 calories a day, and I can actually eat that. Like, my stomach can digest it all, which is crazy because before it was like, if I ate anything, I would feel like I wanted to throw up or my stomach would hurt super bad. But it's the types of foods that you're eating that really affect how you feel. So now I can eat all the food. I've done a ton of healing and I feel great. I don't know the last time I felt really poorly. Honestly, I think it's been like at least a year and a half.
Been a long time.
Yeah. My whole pregnancy, I felt great. I had like morning sickness and stuff for like a couple weeks. But other than that, I have not had actual digestive issues. And I think it's because I cleaned up even my keto diet to being less vegetables and things that are harder to digest.
100%. All right.
Okay, I'm going to grab a chair now.
Let's dive into some of these here. Yes, really glad Crystal was talking about her experience.
Yeah, and I'm pretty much an open book when it comes to that stuff. So if you guys ever have any questions or concerns personally, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to share my experience.
Looking awesome, team. pH and gut, a diabetic perspective. More concerned about fluctuating high blood sugars affecting my pH and the ketones and gut health-wise. Definitely better for me, low carb. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
As a diabetic, I can't see why anybody would not be following a lower carb diet for sure.
Greg says, hey, Rigel.
What's up, Rigel? TC says, hello, listening while giving plasma. My second job. Nice.
That sounds like me when my carb count is done by 12 p.m. I'm not sure which part that was.
Yeah, I don't remember which one.
Hello from Cincinnati.
Cincinnati. Can't sleep without carbs. Yeah, I think there's probably some other things we can tweak before just turning to carbs. Honestly, like, I sleep way better if I have just a slight fat source before going to bed, like some type of fat. Or you could do like some dark. I don't sleep very well if I do pure protein. Like if I have a protein shake or a bunch of chicken, I'm not gonna sleep that well. But a lot of people, like, they can have some dark chocolate. There is some carbs in that.
Magnesium helps a lot with getting in better sleep. And not saying that, like, maybe you are a random person that does do better with carbs before bed, but I don't necessarily think that might be a good thing, because essentially I think what is happening is you're spiking your blood glucose and then it's dropping, and that is causing you to be tired. So you don't really want that large of a spike for it to drop that much in order to, get your rest. But I am assuming that that's probably what's happening.
You might fall asleep better with carbs, because I used to do carb backloading, and I would have a whole bunch of carbs before I go to bed, and I'd be like in a food coma and fall asleep really easily. but the quality of my sleep was diminished. Kind of like alcohol. Like you can drink a bunch of alcohol and fall
That's
asleep,
so true.
but then the quality of your sleep is kind of diminished.
What veggies would you recommend that has the least bloating effect on a person? I would do
Pre-fermented.
Yeah, like kimchi, sauerkraut, things like that.
Pickles.
Yeah, pickles are great.
Fermented cabbage. It's kind of like sauerkraut. Maybe
I feel like
fermented
cabbage. Yeah, yeah.
Sauerkraut, fermented cabbage.
That honestly is going to be the best. And if you're not a person that likes like fermented things, maybe like I don't know, what do you think about cucumber? It's like so watery.
Yeah, cucumbers would be good. Cucumber is technically a fruit, I think.
Really?
Yeah, I just found that out. But yeah, I like some cucumbers. Do you take any supplements to help with guts? I don't. Crystal doesn't.
I quit all my medications. Like when I started keto, I quit all my medications because they were not doing anything, and I hate medicine. But I hate taking medicine for myself.
What kind of yogurt do you eat?
But there are some really great ones out there. Allie Miller has a really great gut health line.
Yeah. What kind of yogurt do you eat and how often?
So I just did my first go of homemade yogurt.
Did that turn out?
No, it did not turn out.
Right.
But I was trying to use like a proof box, and I think I just won't use a proof box next time, and I will use a Instant Pot. Someone on here actually just gave me a recipe for an Instant Pot recipe, and I think I'm going to follow that next time. I also wasted so much milk. And
the raw milk?
Yeah, my friend and I were like, why did I do such a large batch? That was totally my fault. But we were not sure why I used so much and why I didn't
because
sample it.
Because you used vegan starter. What the heck is vegan starter?
No. I started with a yogurt. You can add like a little bit of yogurt to make the yogurt. And that like makes it started, and then you can use your yogurt to start the next one. It didn't work. So then I was like, screw it. All the store had was this vegan starter, which is supposed to be more for like an almond milk or like coconut milk yogurt, homemade. So anyways, I tried that. It also didn't work. It was not. But on the other hand, I really like the Wallaby brand. I also like Stonyfield. I also like the Faye.
Kalina is pretty good too if you want a coconut-based yogurt.
Yeah, that one is. It's just expensive.
Sorry if you already answered this, but what about pre and probiotics?
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of like, we don't take those as a supplement, but like the fermented foods, or I guess you do, I guess. Right?
Yeah, so I did, especially when I was pregnant with him, I did a ton of prebiotics. And then like I do things like the yogurt. I eat yogurt every single day. I also drink a cup of raw milk every day now. And I did, especially when I was pregnant with him, I did a lot of sauerkraut. And I like to do it now still, but I don't love sauerkraut. So I do like it. I just don't love it. So it's harder for me to like implement it every day. But I would implement some more foods that had pre and probiotics.
Yeah.
And then maybe take a supplement on top of it.
I take seed. What is seed? Apple cider vinegar really helps with your gut.
Actually, that is debatable. Apple cider vinegar, because it depends on what's going on with your gut. So if you have any type of erosion in your stop that. If you have any type of erosion in your esophagus, in your stomach, and if you have ulcers or anything like that, it is going to burn the junk out of you. So don't drink apple cider vinegar. I used to do that, and I was on fire every time I did it, and I thought it's probably doing something good, and it was not doing something good. So if you don't have gut issues already, then sure, apple cider vinegar could be good for it. But if you have some issues and you don't know exactly what it is, I would steer clear of the apple cider vinegar. Don't do it. I want to do over here first.
Make sure you use a separate inner ring seal for your yogurt in the Instant Pot.
Use a separate inner ring. I did read something about an inner bowl. Is that what they call it? And I was not sure what that meant. I thought maybe it was just like the regular pot. So thank you for saying that. I will make sure that I look it up. Hey guys, Crystal, do you eat dairy daily? Yes, I do. I actually drink a cup of raw milk every single day. I usually have like 170 grams of milk, like dairy yogurt every day, and then I have heavy cream in my coffee. So And I also usually have cheese on stuff. I handle dairy really easily, which is funny because from the ages of 7 to 16, I could not have dairy because it made my I had like full body like eczema. It made it really bad, made it really itchy, and I would break out more. So I didn't have it. And then I changed my diet to keto, and I all of a sudden didn't have eczema anymore. And now I have all the dairy, and I handle it so well.
Keto for the win. Homemade sauerkraut tastes the best.
Yeah. So actually, one of our employees makes his own sauerkraut.
Hey, is that me? Looks like
Yeah.
me. Elizabeth
No,
Howard.
is it?
It looks like me.
Yeah. I don't know.
Elizabeth Howard's
does
profile
look like
picture
you.
is me. It's kind of crazy. Thomas
If
Lauer
that's not
promotes
you,
Cider.
then it looks a lot like you from here.
Elizabeth Howard, is that your husband that's my twin in your profile picture, or is that me? Because it looks just like me.
That is so funny.
Promote Cider. What is Cider? What is the
I don't know what
thing?
C does either.
All right, so Elizabeth, is that me, and what is Cider? That's the question. It's the plastic seal ring. If you use the same one as your other food, your yogurt will start tasting like the other food.
Oh, I see. Okay. That
It
makes
is
sense.
me.
Okay. I was like, that is kind of crazy. If that's someone else, I'm going to freak out because they're like your twin.
I can't handle too much cheese. My skin gets irritated.
Yep, that'll happen depending on, who you are, what you're eating, like how much you're eating, what type you're eating, all that. Have you ever had issues with your SHBG levels after being keto for so long?
Not really. My sex hormone binding globulin is a little higher, but I don't necessarily think it's because of keto. I don't honestly have any tests from when I was pre-keto to know what it was as a baseline, but it's pretty much stayed the same the whole time I've been keto. So I'm pretty doubtful that it's increased with me being keto because it's been pretty much constant the whole time. So yeah, I wouldn't think that keto is the catalyst for that to be increasing.
I need to get everything checked, honestly. How long after you work out do you eat, especially if you deal with IBS issues? I don't have an issue with eating right after a workout. I also can wait several hours after a workout. Before is a different story. I don't like to eat before my workout, like in general, but if I do, then it'll probably be a couple hours. But afterwards, I'm usually actually pretty hungry after a workout, especially now with feeding him and everything, that I usually eat pretty early in the day. What are y'all eating these days? Eating daily these days. So I just said that the DSK coaches put on a DSK challenge, and this week is tracking your macros. So Robert and I are both tracking our macros and posting it on our stories this week. So if you are interested in what we've been kind of eating lately, that's a really good way to find out, because we did it Monday, Tuesday, today's Wednesday, and we'll do it through Sunday. Do you know how your stomach healed from being eroded? Yeah, it was all the food that I was eating. It was just like I was just feeding it sugar and junk and vegetables and things that made it really, really hard to digest, and breads and things like that. So it all has to ferment in your stomach. And if you have slow digestion, if your muscles move slowly in your stomach and in your intestines, it churns and churns and churns in there for a long time. So it's churning and it doesn't really have anywhere else to go. It's going to go straight right back up into your esophagus, and that's mixed with the acid in your stomach. So the stomach acid mixed with all the food and trying to ferment cause a lot of the erosion. So it's literally like your esophagus is like burning. And like also in your stomach and everything like that. And I also took a lot of ibuprofen because I was in pain, which is terrible for your gut. So all of that mixed together is what caused all of it.
You got a question on there? 24-hour yogurt instant pot.
24-hour yogurt.
Yeah, it's probably a
I
recipe.
think, yeah, okay.
Peace out, homies. All right,
Peace out. Oh, bye, Bryson.
That's all questions. Seed is a probiotic.
Oh, interesting. Is it a brand?
Yeah, I've never even heard of that before.
It's a probiotic. Okay, a lot of people are saying it's probiotic. I've never heard of it. Is it a brand or is it like, let me look.
Seed probiotic.
Seed.
A lot of this stuff, I'm pretty skeptical. A lot of this stuff is kind of just fancy marketing, to be honest, y'all.
Seed.com. The probiotic made by science.
Sounds like fancy marketing.
I don't know. I would have to definitely look into it. $50.
$50 a month.
$50 a month. I would say it's probably a lot like any other probiotic, to be really honest.
This is first sight, sight unseen.
Yeah, here. Just not. Yeah, it's okay. Probiotic inner capsule, probiotic outer capsule.
But it looks like fancy marketing.
Yeah, I mean, and that's fine. If especially if like I think you said Thomas Lauer. I think especially if they're affiliated with them and they really like them personally, they're going to promote it. Like if I just said Allie Miller. I really like Allie Miller's gut line. I actually use all my supplements are from Allie, from Naturally Nourished. So I'm going to promote that. But someone else may not like her line, which is also fine. But it just kind of depends. It depends on where you want to get it. It depends on who you trust. It depends on how much digging you did. And this was just like our first glance at that. Like it might be super amazing and 50 times more awesome than I thought. But a lot of times the different brands, the different kinds, a lot of it is just branding.
All right, y'all. I gotta go play with this little munchkin. I'm gonna call it quits here soon.
They see a lot of influencers promote it. Oh, that's so interesting. I've never heard it before.
We're not in the know.
We're not cool kids.
We're not cool kids.
I can't take anything fermented cultured due to mast cell. However,
ox bile has really helped. Yeah, ox bile is like tried and true. Seed is a symbiotic probiotic. 80 keto and 2 keto. What is 2?
Oh, 2 crazy ketos.
2 crazy ketos. I've never seen it like that. 2KK. That makes sense. Have Instant Pot yogurt videos out there. We will check them out.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to look into it. It's one of the best ones out there per a lot of pros out there.
I mean, it may be like a freaking rock star. Like
it might be.
I mean, you might take that stuff and then, just fly. You might start flying. I don't know.
I want to buy your coaching program, but I live in the UK. How can we work this out? We both work with people all over the world.
Yeah. All of our coaching is remote.
Mm-hmm. I also tried omeprazole and it helps. I was on omeprazole and I really highly hate that medication. It is an over-the-counter thing. You can get it at Costco. And I think it is oftentimes overused and overused as a prescription as well. And I don't like it. But not saying that it doesn't help, because it does help certain people. So I actually know someone currently who was like, they prescribed this to me and I was like, you should definitely take it. Like there are people who could definitely benefit from it. However, they don't oftentimes look at diet first. And that is really irritating to me. They're going to prescribe you a medication or tell you to go pick it up at Costco, but they're not going to ask you what you're eating first. And that's what happened to me. And that was really frustrating because I was on 5 different types of medication and they never once told me to fix my diet other than eating everything pureed or blended. Robert's coaching is top notch.
Thank you, Darren. You the bomb diggity. All right, real quick, one final note, y'all. I sent an email out today for everyone that's subscribed to the Live Savage Apparel email list. We are relaunching Live Savage Apparel in a few weeks because we're totally changing things. We're taking all of our production and doing something similar to what we do with the Keto Bricks, in that we're doing all production in-house. We found a U.S. supplier for all of our blanks. So everything going forward with Live Savage Apparel will be U.S. made, like legit, true, real deal U.S. made, and then printed by us. As such, everything that's on the website currently from China or from wherever else we got it that is not U.S. made, we have at a 90% discount, which is crazy. Like you can buy a $30 or a $50 pair of leggings for $5 plus shipping. We're just trying to get rid of it, y'all. We're not.
It's not a weird scheme thing. Like we're just trying to get it out of our inventory.
Totally losing money on all the stuff that we're selling at 90%. I just want it off the shelf so that we can make room for all the US based stuff that we are printing ourselves for the pre-launch. So if you want sports bras, leggings, like any of that stuff, we're giving it away practically at 90%.
Some of the stuff is like selling out of certain sizes, so definitely jump on there and take a look at what it usually tells you. Like there's only 2 left of this size, like just whatever. But some of the sizes are running out, so make sure you go take a look at it.
Yeah, and all of these, because there is such a steep discount, it's like this is like a one-time deal. Like we're never doing. I can't imagine we'd be doing 90% discount again. We just did the annual brick by brick thing. We're not really one for discounts, and I'm saying that we sound like we're doing a whole bunch of discounts right now. We're just doing this with the apparel because we're getting rid of all the stuff from overseas to do everything in-house, made in America, printed by us with the relaunch. So if you want that, jump on it. We're going to take those off the site at the end of this week.
And if it's helpful, I usually wear a medium in both the leggings and the sports bras.
Boom.
So if you're curious about that, that's what it is. What is the website? LiveSavageApparel.com.
LiveSavageApparel.com. And stay tuned for the stuff that's going to be coming.
Yeah.
That's all the cool US-based, printed by us stuff that we've been learning how to do for the past several months. That said, that's a wrap on the live, y'all. Appreciate you. Love you. Bye-bye, says Rigel. See y'all next time. Toodaloo. Ta-ta for now.
See ya.